It's me. What you expect? You want topics? Bet. We got some coming up next for y'all. It's your boy Mario on point. Now let's get to the point. Now, some of y'all may have been hearing about what's been going on in the news regarding Iman, Shumpert, and Teyanna Taylor. But if you don't know what's going on, I am here to inform you what's been going on. Now, Aman and Tiana, as of recently, they have been finalizing their divorce. Now, this has been something that's been going on in the works for a little bit now. But before we get into all the backstories, let's talk about the point that we're at now. Now, it's finally being finalized, but the closer that we get to the divorce settlement, it seems the messier that it gets, which is sad in comparison because you're talking about a couple who has been married. Um, and when you get married to somebody, you don't think this is per se how you see it to end, right? But we're here now. It's no going back. It's no could have did this, could have did this. This is where we at. If you at the point to you getting divorced, you in the courtroom, you splitting up settlements and this and that, that's just the point that we're at right now. So before we talk about the ugly, which is obviously the divorce, let's talk about the good and some of the time that they spent together. Now they've been married since 2016. They have two kids together, Junie and Rubi Rose. Now, as far as the public eye can see, as far as the relationship goes, that's really the most positive we can speak on the relationship. Now, everybody saw them as someone as a power couple. You got a professional athlete, and then you got an artist who can also dance as well, who's been compared to the female Chris Brown. So as far as a power couple goes, it seems that they both have these boxes checked off to actually be considered a power couple. But a power couple doesn't mean that it's ever just going to be great all the time. Just like when in a relationship, things can go bad. Now, if you're someone who likes to listen to this podcast, you like to listen to your wife or your husband, don't let this affect you guys in any way that make you guys feel any different for what you guys got going on, because every relationship is different, obviously. But we're going to talk about this now. Now, with the divorce actually finalizing, a couple that's been together 10 years, you would think, oh, well, maybe they will get back together. Well, maybe that's the option if it is the first time this has happened. Now, apparently this is the first time that they almost split. Now, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be brought to the table to kind of make sense of all this. Not just seeing this for the first time, seeing they get divorced, like, oh, well, one time, one slip up, they can't reconcile. That's not the case. Because apparently, as before they even officially got married and they were dating, Amans was cheating on her before. Now, what I will say about this is around the time that Amans Shumpert was dating Teyanna Taylor, he was playing in Cleveland. Now, I don't want to come out, talking out the side of my neck and say, that it is true that Amans was cheating, but what I will say is Cleveland is a very small city. Everybody knows everybody, and I even thought that it was odd back then, knowing that he was dealing with Teyanna Taylor, that the fact that I knew just regular girls that were familiar with hanging out with Amans Shumpert. Now, they weren't married at this point, but that will come, farther down the line. Now, me even having that information before they actually get married, it's like, okay, well, he just out here, he's doing his thing, he's young, he's a professional athlete. That's how professional athletes move, I'm assuming. Why? Because this isn't the only player in Cleveland that I've known girls to be around with. So it's a common thing, you know what I mean? Don't just think of it as like, oh, it's only like the IG models. Like, these are athletes who are on a strict schedule, so sometimes they just, whatever's convenient for them, that's what it is. Close proximity, like we talked about last week, with being a natural cheater, or if your job title necessarily makes you a cheater, sometimes it just might be the job field that you're in that puts you in these situations to cheat. Now, back to what I said. In the public eye, they've been good. There's some stuff off the record that I know. But as far as we can see, that they seem like, a happy couple. Amans was there to support her. She has, these video shoots and stuff. She's working with Kanye, good music, stuff like that. He's around the video shoots. He's supporting. That's what you want, right? If you're a female, you'd obviously want your man to actually support any endeavors that you have going on, which seemed like Amon Shumpert seemed to be doing that. And the public eye, Amon didn't seem like he was a bad partner by any sort. Seemed like he really supported his wife. And obviously she's attractive, not only attractive, but she's also talented as well. Now, for most men, might make you a little insecure. The fact that Iman does music as well. His woman's working in the music industry. She's around all these men, stuff like that. That seemed to not be a problem for Iman Shumpert. He was still able to handle his business correctly. You never seen him. She works with another artist, and he's under the post talking about, oh, this is my wife, yada yada yada. He let her do her thing. So in reality, you're looking at a relationship. That seems like the best thing for a relationship, right? You guys to both be on the same page. You guys both are professionals. You guys are seeing in the public eye. So you can't really be with somebody who's insecure. So obviously, it was working, but clearly that's just not enough. Just being there for your partner, supporting her, whatever career she got going on. That is one piece of it, but that is not all of it. Because at the end of the day, this is your partner, so you spend a lot of time with them, etc. Now, the problem is stuff that we don't see, right? Like I said, this wasn't the first time that this divorce almost finalized happened for the first time, but apparently it was back in 2021. Amon was at a low in his career. He's not the same guy that he was when he played for Cleveland, a good role player, hitting threes, playing defense and stuff like that. Now he's at a point where he's scrambling to kind of find a team. He gets put on the team, and they're not utilizing him the way that he should be utilized. But during this time that he's going through his low, Teyanna is feeling low as well as far as the marriage goes. She's feeling like maybe this is someone that she doesn't want to be with. But with all that being said, she pushed all that to the side just to actually stay there and support her man and be there for him because he was going through such a tough time, right? Which I see is very honorable and respectful. Despite, what you do as a man, I think all men can agree you want a woman that's going to hold you down at your low. Because when you're at your high, you like to shower your woman with love, praise, be appreciative, stuff like that. So as a man, when you get down low, about your career, maybe you're not making the money that you would like to see, your peers don't respect you as they once respect you. That could be tough for anybody. And the fact that Teyanna Taylor stayed with them through all that, I mean, to me, that just speaks volumes to who she is as a person and as her character. It's not like, it's not like she was like, I'm just going to bounce to the next NBA player who's doing well. She's like, yo, this is my man. I love him. I got to be here for support. But at the end of the day, she was not happy in the relationship. So selflessly, she stayed for a man and tried to make it work. Now, this is in 2021. Things obviously seem to not be getting better, right? So, almost a quiet divorce happened, a year ago. Now, before we even knew that they're actually split up in divorce, you kind of had to put like the pieces together to kind of figure it out because neither of them were actually saying anything. You look at IG, they're still being very friendly. They're not attacking each other. They're not making little slight remarks. They're not doing anything that would make you think that they were on bad terms, right? Well, it's all good until it's not good. Because when it started to come out that they might have been splitting up, that's when you start to see more of an insight of what's going on in the relationship. Now, a lot of them seem to be revolving around Aman's infidelity, right? That's just the start of it. It's the cheating, nothing more, nothing less. It's like, hey, look, I think we can all speak for it. We don't want a partner that's going to be cheating. Whether you're a man or you're a woman, it's going to be hard for you to accept your partner cheating on you, right? Now, if you're actually married together, that can be a huge deal breaker, the cheating for obvious reasons. Now, like I said, that situation back then, had situation last year. Now we're getting to the point where it's like only time can tell if it's actually going to be solidified. And after all the times that maybe it was able to be, reconciled, they're at the point now, well, at least she's at the point now where it can't be reconciled. So there are officially finalizing steps to get divorced. Now, I made a comment about how it seems to get messier, as things go on. It starts off cordial, good, puppy dog stage. You have a point in time where it's a little bit of little headbutting, and then you work over that, you're good. And then situations seem to keep happening, because time is a good tell to show how somebody truly is. And I feel like they had enough time to really figure that out. I think she just got to the point where she realized that she was actually dealing with a cheater. So that's how they got to the point that they're at now. But before, it was kind of on the hush-hush. Like I said, she was being very respectful. But now kind of when it kind of gets out there, in the public eye, one side might feel away, another side might feel away based on what this person said. So now you kind of have like a little tit for tat thing going on, right? And when that happens, usually, you get the low blows coming in and stuff like that. You're fueled by anger that the fact that this person is speaking on you, maybe at a time when you were there for them when nobody else was there. So you are hurt. And like they said, hurt people, and that seems to be what has been going on. Now, let's talk about the divorce, okay? Because like I said, they're starting to finalize the divorce, so now we're getting deeper into it. It's not like, oh, there's just a rumor. Oh, they're not seen together. Now it is real. It's in the public eye. Now it's public record, so everybody can kind of see what's actually going on. Now, this is a crazy divorce when you talk about the splits and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to talk about. Now, when all is said and done, Teyanna finally spoke a little bit more about what was actually happening. Didn't just keep it to infidelity. Now she's dropping a little bit more clues about what's actually happening and the real reason. Now she says, Teyanna claims that this came from Iman's constant infidelity and him being a narcissist, as well as just receiving overall cruel treatment from Iman. Now, we don't know who's right, who's wrong, if this is actually true or not. But like I spoke about before, if you have time in with somebody, things are going to happen. It's not always going to be peachy. You know what I mean? You look at somebody's Instagram, you see them posted, they're doing a little cute photo shoots, they look dressed up for Halloween. They doing all this stuff. So like in your mind, you're saying, oh, it's all good. Wrong. You don't know. You can't judge somebody's relationship strictly just off their IG. IG is nothing but a bunch of highlights. There's no low lights. Ain't nobody ever fucked up when it comes to IG. Everybody is living their best life. So it's hard to actually critique a relationship in that eye view. You see what I'm saying? But let's get to it. Let's talk about who got what and who lost what. Because when you're talking about a divorce, it's not the same as just breaking up with the girlfriend. Even though it can be, but technically nobody is as owed anything as much as when you're actually in a relationship. You can have a girlfriend, you guys break up. Okay, you might want your hoodie back. Some of your hoodies back that she didn't took from you. You know what I mean? Like, you might want like a little necklace you got back from her, stuff like that. But when you are talking about divorce and you spend time with somebody, now you are talking about properties and actual assets that you have built over this time while being with this person. Now, if the court sees it, you're married. Technically, your wife or your husband is entitled in some way some of those things that you have obtained while being in the relationship. Whether it's 100%, unless you can 100% give somebody credit for something, it's kind of hard to tell in a marriage because, in a marriage, you kind of just put everything together, you split it up and you divvy. That's cool when you're on good terms. When you're on bad terms, it's all bad. And then you really have to figure out who gets what and what is actually what. And that's the point that they got to. Now, it says a bond will make 1 7-figure payment to Teyanna. Now, if you guys don't know how much 7 figures is, I'm gonna let y'all know. It's $1 million, okay? Now, I just recently learned what 7 figures was within the last couple years. So, I got the information for y'all just in case y'all didn't know. 6 figures, you're talking about 100,000. 7 figures, you add extra decimal point, it adds another 0, which gives you $1 million. Now, I've never heard in the divorce settlement somebody paying outright this money off rip, but that's what it says. He has to make the 1 7-figure payment to Teyanna. Now, it doesn't say multiple, it just says 1. Now, I don't know, how loosely they are counting this. I don't know if it needs to be clearly over $1 million or he can give her $1 million. Me, I'm just trying to finesse, get like an extra band out of that. So whatever that would be, 999,000 dollars. I'll try to give just a little bit short of that meal. Just, I mean, come on, it's damn near seven figures. Like if it's in the black and white that it needs to exactly be seven figures. But like Soldier Boy said, you know, millions is millions. You know what I mean? So technically, if you're 1,000 short of having a million, technically is, speaking of technicalities, all right, I'm not going through. Amon, yo, just pay the million so you don't have to deal with some other stuff. But whatever. It says Teyanna will retain 4 marital properties valued at approximately $10 million. Back to what I was saying, go ahead and short her on that little $1,000 so you don't got to give her that meal. Because if you got to give her these properties, 4 properties that are valued at approximately $10 million, why is she gonna be tripping over a little $1,000, a little bandica that you ain't give her? You giving her a bunch of other $10 million worth of valued property, right? Let's move on. Now, Iman, he gets to keep his condo in Miami as well as properties in South Georgia and Decatur. Now, if y'all don't know where Decatur is, look it up because I don't know either, but it is. I don't care where it's at, if it's in Antarctica, if it's in another country, third world country, Germany, wherever you want to say it's at, it don't matter because he gets to keep that, which I think is fair because sometimes we see in these divorce settlements, it seems like it's very heavy leaning on the women. Like Jeff Bezos' wife. She wasn't in there grinding with him all the years. You saw that picture of Jeff Bezos when he just had the little, it wasn't even printed out. He just wrote on it, Amazon. He got that little small ass desk he working at, right? You don't see his wife nowhere in the picture, but they get divorced and she gets half of his money. Now, granted, he was able to make that 10 times over since then, but it's crazy because he had to give her all this money, and what'd she do? She give it away. He worked all his life for all this hard-earned fettuccine, and he loses it, some of it in the divorce settlement. What'd she do? She gives it away. So, like I said, at least Iman got to keep his properties or whatever it may be, you know? Now it says Iman will still be forced to pay $8,000 in child support a month. That's $8,000 a month, as well as paying for both his children's private school. I don't know how I feel about this, honestly. I mean, I guess if you have to pay that big lump sum of $1 million to somebody, and then you got to get the properties worth $10 million, and then you still got to pay for all the private school, that seems just a tad bit unfair to me. But I was the one allegedly cheating, so I don't necessarily have to deal with this. But what I will say about that is, when it comes to your kids, I don't think it should be I don't think it should even be a conversation, you know what I mean? As a man, you should still want to, you know, provide for your kids regardless. Now, don't confuse this with somebody who's taking their kids to public school and their tuition isn't as high. You know, there's some public schools, well, I think a lot of public schools, you know, you're talking about at least $50,000 a year, you know what I mean? 50 to 100,000 a year. I'm thinking, you know, the daughters of Tiyanna Taylor and Amans Shumpert are probably going to be close to, you know, that, you know, 150,000 a year just for private school. So the 8,000 kind of makes sense, because I don't like when it's like a situation where it's like a woman isn't even living that type of lifestyle anyways. Their kids are going to public school and the girl wants like $20,000 a month for child support. What do you need $20,000 for child support if your kid is going to a public school? It's like, well, when she goes live with her dad, you know, they live in the high life, and then she comes live back with me, it's normal stuff. That's not their father's fault. As long as the father is providing a good experience while he is in care of his kids, that's all it matters. The divorce settlement isn't necessarily for the adults, it's necessarily for the children, right? Because when you get divorced, who does it affect most? It affects your children. You know, they went to live in a 2-parent household. You know, mom and daddy are working together to make sure that they have a good life. But once they break up, like I said, the mom can still work, the dad can still work, but it affects the children more than anything. So I don't have a problem with the child support payment, because like I said, as a man, you should want to do for your kids, and hopefully Iman doesn't have a problem with that. But it's probably the fact that he has to pay all this additional money anyways, and then he has to pay this $8,000 a month for the child support. But Amon, you got to do the right thing like Spike Lee and pay that money, my boy. But other than that, the last thing that we can touch on as far as the settlements and stuff like that, they both get to keep their business investments to themselves. Now, I looked at some of Amans Shumpert's business investment. I'm not 100% sure how much time he's actually putting into it, or it just has his name on it, a way for him to, possibly keep money in a safe space. Get his Martha Stewart on. You feel me? Move to here and move to here, just out of there. But I did like that because it's the fact that it makes me seem like Teyanna Taylor isn't the person that's necessarily coming for his money. It's just she wants to be able to still be a little bit comfortable while still having her kids taken care of. Because I think that would be weird if, for some reason that she was getting a piece of some investment that she had nothing to do with, or maybe some of his NBA money that she had nothing to do with, or vice versa. I wouldn't like the fact if if Teyanna Taylor has the royalties or not, if Amon Trump would be getting a piece of that. I don't like that either. Just we're making it clear. It's not just the women thing. I just think for when you're in a marriage, and just because that person's around, now you are obligated to split everything, even if they didn't have a part of it. That's the problem that I have with that. But respectfully, they're able to both keep all their personal investments. So I'm cool with that. Now, the real question is, let's bring it back. Did Teyanna have a fair reasoning for wanting the divorce? Is infidelity and cruel treatment is that a fair reason to divorce somebody? Now, everybody might answer differently, but I want to know what you guys think. I want to hear some of you guys' feedback, whether you're married or not, or if you're single, or you're just a girl, or you just have a girlfriend you've been dating for a couple days. I just want to know personally what y'all think, because honestly, me, I'm the type of person. It just really comes down to respecting. You know what I mean? Now, some people can get over cheating. Me personally, as somebody who is a retired habitual cheater, I that would be grounds for me wanting to get divorced for sure. Because if it says through right or wrong till death do us part, then that is what the vibe is. Nothing else. I don't want to hear, oh well, we got all. No, I'm not. Whatever excuse you about to try to make for a reason that you had. Well, I just felt long, but I'd rather you break up with me before you cheat on me. I don't care if you're breaking me and the next day you sleep with somebody else. That ain't got nothing to do with me, because technically we are not together. So, you got that. But like I said, does Teyanna have a fair reasoning for the divorce? And then I also want to know, is this the amicable and fair split? Now, for the most part, I would say, I'll say it's a pretty fair split, except for like the millions that he's, having to give away. I think the most amicable thing would have been, maybe if he didn't have to give away those 4 properties worth, $10 million, because at the end of the day, like, she has kids, like, why do you need 4 other properties? You know what I mean? Because if you're that concerned about making sure that your kids have the stuff that they need to be, why not just sell some of the properties? And which she might do. But I'm saying, I think that would make a little bit more sense than her just having the properties, just selling the properties, and then maybe putting that like in a little safe fund for the kids. I think that would have been a fair split. But will I say it's amicable? No, I won't say it's that amicable. I think it started off amicable, but like I talked about before, it starts off good and then it gets messy. And I say all that to say, why does all the dirty laundry seem to get aired at the end? Now, before, Teyanna was saying very hush-lipped about, stuff that was going on. She's still defending them like, yo, that's still my best friend, the father of my children, which is very respectful. As a woman, even if you're not with your man anymore, y'all got kids, because I think that is the dopest thing in the world, that you still gonna respect your husband. Because if you still trying to find another man and you disrespecting the father of your kids, the other dude gonna be looking at you like, what, you think he just gonna brush it off? That's pretty much seeing the future for him, like having a little that's so Raven moment. Like, bro, that can be you when she's done with you. You know what I'm saying? But before, she was saying pretty hush hush. But then she started to make claims that women sleeping over with Amon is confusing their daughters. And then she also said that Amon's care for the daughters is in danger because he's under the influence around them. Now, when I hear under the influence, say it with me, y'all. What are y'all thinking? Alcohol. No, she is not talking about alcohol. She's talking about bud, weed, Zaza, cookies, Snickle Fritz, whatever y'all call weed these days. That's she's talking about him being under the influence while she is with the children. Now, I think that is a little hypocritical because Tiana Taylor as well does smoke. Now, if you aren't even there with him when he is with the kids, I think it'd be wrong for him to be smoking around his children. But if he's just high and he is around his kids, I think being high around your children and being under the influence of alcohol are very different. I say that as somebody who doesn't have children himself. I'm just gonna keep it being with you. I definitely think it is a little bit different, but like I said, starts off good. It gets messy because where were all these claims before when you're talking about he's still a good dad and all that? But now it seems like she's trying to paint this narrative that maybe he's not a good dad because he smokes weed and he might be high in front of his children. Cold world we live in. Like I said, if you're with your wife, watching this, don't let this be an example for you guys to expose your relationships or try to compare because every relationship is different. But I would love to hear your guys' feedback about this. Is this fair? Does Teyanna have a good point? Who's right, who's wrong? And why the dirty laundry always got to get aired at the end? Man, that's all I want to know. But we don't go to our next topic. But before we do that, we got to take a little commercial break. Are we? We back. Like we never left. During that commercial break, hopefully I was able to get some snacks, water, or whatever refreshment that you need to keep you in tune while this podcast continues. Now, we just mentioned the Iman and Tiana divorce. Now, on a smaller level, we are going to talk about another couple that seems to have broken up. Rubi Rose and Druski are no longer a thing. Kids, it is over with. They are no longer in love. They have broken up. It's a sad day in the world. Whatever. It didn't last long though. That's one thing that we will say. First, it was first of all, it was a lot of hating going on. When people found out that I always want to say when I talk about Rubi Rose and Druski, I always want to say Drubi. You got to ship couples together, you get like a cool little nickname. I always want to say Drubi. But for Rubi Rose and Druski, when they first started, it was speculation that they might have been dating. Everybody was hating on them. Right? Just culture that we live in. Just hate. People want Rubi Rose. Some girls might want Druski. Whatever the case may be. Now let's figure out what went wrong. Because from the outside looking in, it looked like a genuine relationship. Now, a lot of people were hating, trying to see, how can Druski pull Rubi Rose and he's fat and he yada yada yada, like she should be with somebody like me. First of all, y'all broke. Whoever's talking about like Rubi Rose should have been with you instead of Druski, y'all not even on the same playing field. You know what I mean? So that's the first thing. And the second thing, man, why do men always gotta hate on, and I don't even want to say it's just men because women do it too, but these men that have these celebrity crushes about women that they've never met in their life, they're talking to themselves in the DM, those type of dudes, like why does it matter who she is with? You know what I mean? Who these celebrities are with? Because if they weren't with this certain celebrities, they're not going to be with you, my boy. So all that hating ain't doing nothing but maybe push you away from some girls in your city that you can actually rock with, but you saying over a female that you ain't never gonna get. And let me say that because I'm not no hater. First of all, you should never feel like anybody is out of your league, but at the same time, you have to be a little realistic. And I didn't get all the hate that Juicy was getting because why are we trying to act like funny dudes don't be scoring or don't be coming up? You know what I mean? Like, y'all be so like, y'all, like I like speaking in general, but y'all be thinking a lot of times it's like who you see this celebrity person like a good match with, it has nothing to do with anything, because who are, like, you ain't some fake ass Cupid trying to match make people. Like, that is not your job description. That's not your title. That is not what God put you on this green earth to do. He put you on this earth and mind your business, be courteous to your neighbor. That's it. You know what I mean? So people acting surprised that Druski, a funny dude, was able to bag Rubi Rose. Like, most women would want, you know, a dude who can make her laugh. Now, I heard this back when I was young. If you can get a girl to crack a smile, you can crack her cheeks. This is a fact. Now, what does that have to do with this situation? Obviously, a lot, because Druski is that guy that is funny. Now, I'm not the one that's usually the one that's going to judge men or whatever the case may be. And I'm not a hater when it comes to celebrity relationships at all, because it has nothing to do with me. These women that these men are talking about, I'm not going to be with these women regardless. Even if I was on a platform like that, I think I would want somebody who's kind of more out of lifestyle, because obviously you got to deal with a bunch of people, always trying to bag yo girl or whatever the case may be. Most times, like, if you can just get your relationship, the best relationship that you can have is one that can stay off of social media, right? But the same reason that we're invested in these stories is the fact that we know these people, we like their art for whatever reason, we like their interviews or whatever they got going on. We like them and we respect them, but at times it makes us as fans, as just public viewers of these situations, I think sometimes we invest a little bit too much in time into these celebrity relationships, right? Because how does that really affect us? How does Cardi B and Offset breaking up, how does that affect your everyday life? Now, I'm not speaking they broke up recently, but when it did happen, a lot of people like, oh, well, Cardi B shouldn't take him back, and Offset, like, why does it matter? And I think that's just the world that we live in now. Social media has made it very prevalent for us to be aware of what's going on, be in the know, to the point where we think that we are just entitled as these other people. But at the end of the day, is none of our business, and we have no say so in it. We have our own relationship that we have to deal with, and not worried about other celebrities. You know what I mean? But let's get back to the Jerubi, aka the Rubi Rose Druski, situation. Like I said, a lot of it comes down to a lot of men just being infatuated with other. I don't even want to just say men, just people just being infatuated with other people's relationship when it really has nothing to do with us. Now, from the outside looking in, we can say, was this all a clout move? Because I think, excuse me, um, I think it was mutually beneficial for both of them. Drewski still being on the rise. I mean, Drewski is lit. You know what I mean? Like, there's no doubt about it. Like, it was a point in time we're trying to figure out, is Drewski going to get burned out? Is he not that funny? But time and time again, Drewski proves to us that he is that funny, right? Now, I actually this is all a clout move, um, because I honestly think no, I believe that it's mutually beneficial for both of them. Rubi Rose, I don't think she's nearly as talented as Drewski, but as an attractive female dealing with somebody who's funny, kind of the best of both worlds, right? Now she got a couple free gifts, some free vacations, and it was over. Now, if you are an average person, who's making anywhere from 50 to $100,000 a year, maybe that might be a big deal to you to give a couple expensive gifts, a couple vacations. That might seem like a big deal. We're talking about people who are in completely different tax brackets, so them buying gifts and stuff like that is just like us taking a girl to a dinner or a nice date or something like that. Like, um is that insufficient? Pretty much, you know what I mean? It's not this. I don't consider that for a celebrity putting his all into a situation just because he got a girl like a couple gifts. You know what I mean? We're talking about maybe that's like 5% of what they make in an entire year, if that. You know what I mean? It's a very small percentage. So from that, I don't think it's that big of a deal. But what I do want to know, is this the norm for celebrity relationships? Because I feel like a lot of times we see situations, we see lit celebrities, they hang out, they date a little bit, they buy each other like some nice things, boom, and then it's all over. Because I feel like at the end of the day, everybody in the industry is dating each other anyway. So unless y'all get married and have kids, you got to kind of stand out from the rest. But other than that, people aren't really gonna take the relationship as serious as maybe they will. Just for the simple fact is, I think that as regular people, I'll call us. I think we kind of think this is the norm for relationships. You know what I mean? They date somebody, they break up, it's a big deal. Date somebody else, break up, is a big deal. It's just forever ending cycle, and I don't think there's too much thought that needs to be put into it. But one thing, I do want to hit on the nail before we get out of here. Why do we care at all about celebrity relationships? Now I touched on that a little bit earlier in the podcast, just making comments about that. Does like what they got going on, them getting together, them breaking up, it doesn't really affect our life in any way. Now, if you're talking about a top musical artist being in a relationship, them getting a little complacent, they're not putting as much music out. Okay, yeah, that may affect us, but that doesn't affect our livelihood. It just affects the fact that, maybe we're not getting new music as frequently as, we would. They're not posting how they normally would, like they were single. But it's all good because at the end of the day, it's their lives, and we are just outside viewers who get a chance to look in of certain things that they choose or choose not to show us. But give me some feedback about what you guys feel about the Druski and the Rubi Rose situation. Yeah, it's been this podcast has been full of a bunch of breakups and heartbreaks. I think, depending on how you look at it. But one thing that I can honestly say, if you're a viewer listening to this right now, look, it's a great day for you. Why? Because you're not getting divorced. Well, maybe some of you guys are getting divorced or breaking up. But one thing I will say about some of you guys who are possibly getting divorced, you don't have to worry about paying a settlement check of 7 figures. Like I said, y'all, that's $1 million. 6 figure is 100,000. You ain't got to worry about that. You don't have to worry about losing 4 properties that are valued approximately $10 million. And then on top of that, you're not paying for private school additionally, and on top of that, paying $8K a month just for child support. So if you're watching this and you wish you'd be one of these celebrities, well, good for you, because you're not, because you don't have to lose all this money by going about a divorce. If you are somebody who is in a relationship with a girl, you don't have to I don't know. You probably dating just a regular girl. When I say regular, I'm not saying that to be disrespectful, because I'm sure your girls are beautiful. And if you think that I still don't believe what I'm saying, that your girls are beautiful, just send me what y'all wives look like in the DM, and I'll personally tell you if your wife look good or not. Respectfully, of course, because I don't want your girl. I only want somebody who wants me. I'm not actually looking, but if your wife want me, holla at your boy. But this has been another episode of the We Here Now podcast. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. If this is your first time watching, I hope this content was enough to make you want to come back and rock with your boy again. If you are a recurring viewer and you've been rocking with me since the beginning, shout out to you. I'm staying consistent, and you guys are proof to say that I am staying consistent. So we gonna get some of these new people that haven't been here before. We gonna get them tapped in. We gonna get them rocking with the content, and y'all gonna prove to them why y'all been subscribing, why y'all been rocking for me as long as y'all been rocking with me. But like I said, this has been another episode of the We Here Now podcast. Like and like this. And before we get out of here, I ain't saying yet because I don't like to be too thirsty about it, you know what I'm saying? But because at the end of the day, y'all gonna do what y'all want to do. Don't matter how many times somebody tell you. But it's a great quote. I heard it from a great philosopher once said. He said, how did he say? He said, closed mouths don't get fed. So to break that down, it's pretty much saying if you don't ask, you shall not receive. So this is my time to ask y'all. If I can get a like, comment, subscribe. If I made you laugh at any point, if I made you have a conversation in your head about the conversation that I was talking about at any point, if you thought that I was the idiot and I didn't have anything to talk about, and I'm stupid and I'm ugly and whatever the case may be, if I made you think any of those emotions, come on, just give your boy a like, a comment, or subscribe. You don't have to do all three. Like I said, you can do 2 out of 3 or 1 out of 3, but you ain't got to do all 3. But just show me some love. I'm putting in the work, but I appreciate y'all. Likes is free, and it's your boy Mario, Mr. Mario on point, and I like to say on point. And that's been another episode. We out here. Whew.